What is up, guys? It's 2026, and I'm itching to play some Neoform. I'm trying the Ice Fang Codal into Abhorrent Oculus sideboard tech. I don't understand it. Frankly, I don't know if anybody does. I'm thinking maybe it makes like the blue-black matchups better since you tend to run out of cards against them. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Round number one. This hand's okay. It's still missing a creature, but besides that, I've got most of what I want. I've got excess green cards. Veil might be good. And I've got 2 Surveils here, so I'm going to keep. And we're on the draw. I don't know. Maybe you should play this deck more aggressively with your opening hands than I do. Well, that kind of stinks. But, well, actually, so they can't deprive us of a combo piece here because we have 2 of one, and they don't have the other one to take. So, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of aggressive mulligans with pretty much any deck. I feel like mulliganing, it doesn't make your hand better, it just makes it smaller. They know about Veil of Summer, so they're probably not going to Thoughtseize us again. Phyrexian Tower, okay, some sort of mono black deck it looks like. Shambling Ghast, I know what this is. This is that deck with that new card from Avatars, the equipment that if you, not equipment, but the vehicle, which is kind of like an equipment, if you sacrifice something, it makes a copy of itself. It's incredibly powerful if you're sitting around doing absolutely nothing. Alright, we do need to draw a creature here one day. Surveil with Hedge Maze. Ent to the graveyard. I'm also playing 2 copies of Hooting Mandrills to try to make our grindy matchup a little better. So now Hooting Mandrills is online for us too. Okay, opponent makes a treasure token and sacrifices Shambling Ghast because they cast, they didn't cast anything. They just used Phyrexian Tower. And they Bowmasters. I'm going to cycle one of these Veil of Summers. That way they have to ping themselves. Alright, so now Thoughtseize gets us. But while I could, I wanted to use that. I didn't use that Veil of Summer just to make them ping themselves, but I wanted to get a cycle off. And now as long as our opponent doesn't hand disruption us, we can go off. Gravecrawler, I accept. Although Grizzlebrand's not at its best right now. I could get a Ureni and nuke the board, I think. I think it's either a Ureni or a Traxa here. Nice. I mean, how does a mono black deck kill a Traxa? I think they're playing the sacrifice. There's like a new, I don't know if it's new, but there's like a sacrifice a creature, exile graveyard card. I forget what it's called. So that would get Ureni in either case. So I think Grizzlebrand is offline because of that Bowmasters. Bowmasters would just kill the Grizzlebrand or put us really low. I'm going to take a Traxa. If I get a Ureni and they do have the sacrifice card, then I have nothing to do, whereas a Traxa could refill my hand potentially. Although Traxa doesn't really put that many cards in hand, all things considered. They could have Force of Despair also. I'm not going to play Allosaurus Rider because that would require me to exile my Neoform. Opponent has Soul Warden. Whatever they're doing, I feel like that's a big part of it. I'm just going to Pact. There's a Soul Warden Living End version, but I don't think this is that deck. Just whatever they're doing over there, I'm not a fan of it, so get rid of it. Yeah, another Gravecrawler, that's all right. Go to our turn and consign our pack trigger. Draw another consign, not the best draw in the deck. Attack our opponent for 7, gain 7, and pass the turn. Opponent plays a land and casts a Malevolent Rumble. And concedes the game. Alright. I don't think we want Ice Fang against them. I think our normal build is pretty good. Veil seems good. I think they are, well, I don't know if they're playing that equipment or not, but I think the fact that they have Shambling Ghast, not equipment, vehicle, I think the Shambling Ghast means they do have it, so I think I would like a Nature's Claim. And I think a Boseiju, and I can fire those off. I'm going to go down Pact. I think down another Pact. I'm just going to bring Oculus in, I think. It's just a good draw. I think that actually makes more sense than Endurance. Endurance can hit Gravecrawlers, though. Take out all the packs. What's the cut from the 61? I guess I'll cut Oculus. Alright. Game number 2. So the dangerous part of this hand is that it's a 2-lander only if they don't Thoughtseize my Disciple of Freyalise. If this was not a Thoughtseize deck, I think I would keep this hand. But because I have my combo, I've got Hootie Mandrills in Neoform. But if they Thoughtseize Disciple on turn 1, I can't really do anything unless I draw more lands, and that's too risky, so I'm going to mulligan. And now I have another 1-lander. Still has my combo, but the same problem. Alright, that has a real land in it. And I can put back Atraxa and I think Nature's Claim. Yeah, I'm going to keep it and put back Atraxa and Nature's Claim. At least they can't Thoughtseize my land with this hand. Now, if the opponent does not play Thoughtseize here, then that first hand would have actually been really good. But we were too clever for that. In order to prevent being Thoughtseized, we Thoughtseized ourselves twice. Now, say for example I just rip a land here for my first draw step. That first hand would have still been great. Opponent mulligan though, so we're not too many cards down right now. I think if you're them, you take Hootie Mandrills here. That has the double benefit of taking one of my combo pieces and also getting rid of one of my combo pieces, which is going to fill up the graveyard that relies on the graveyard, thus negating the synergy of discard. They take Eldritch Evolution, that's also valid. I feel like you take Mandrills there, though. Maybe that's just an I'm very smart play, but I don't know, I feel like they should take Mandrills. Opponent plays Marionette Apprentice. It's going to make a servo token, if I believe. Yep. We shall get the Hedge Maze. Snow-covered island, I'll leave it on top. Let's just play Planar Genesis next turn. Kind of a nombo with Hootie Mandrills, but we do need the lands. Also, Hootie Mandrills and Abhorrent Oculus are competing with each other for graveyard resources. Something to be aware of if I bring that in. Not that it really matters. I mean, you just fill up your graveyard, I think you play one of them. So what do I want with this Planar Genesis? I think what I would like is another Evolution spell. That's not good. That's bad for a lot of reasons. That totally shuts off our hand. Maybe I need to leave those, whatchamacallums, those pact of negations in the deck. I'm going to take the land here. I don't want any of those cards. And now I think we just kind of lose. Flare of Malice. Okay, I think I don't want to play this game anymore. We'll go back to Pact of Negation, I think. I actually don't want to rely. Having seen Ashiok, I don't want to rely on Hooting Mandrills. If I don't want to rely on Hooting Mandrills, I think I probably don't want Atraxa. But Atraxa is a nice alternative to have in the face of Orcish Bowmasters. I guess I'll take out Ureni. That way I can use Veil of Summer if they Thought Seize. Opponents thinking about if they want to Thought Seize us. They decide to do it. I'm glad they did. Such a difference between being on the draw and on the play when you have Veil of Summer in your deck. Although I can't turn to cast anything at the moment. It was worth it. Don't need any more lands. Should I play out a 3/3 Allosaurus Rider? They can't play Force of Despair if I do. But they could say Force of Despair for the Grizzlebrand turn, so it doesn't really matter. Alright. Might have been nice to get attacks going. I don't know how they actually kill an Allosaurus Rider. But I'm guessing they could. Marionette Apprentice, okay. And now I don't want to play out the Rider. Now I just want to draw Neoform. Well, did not draw Neoform. I will put that on top, and I'm going to use Planar Genesis to put it back on the bottom. Consign to Memory, Pact of Negation, or Hedge Maze. I don't think we want Pact without Consign, and I don't really have a reason to need Consign to Memory here. Is it just Hedge Maze? Neither of these cards are a combo piece, really. Although Pact could be nice in the event. I'm going to take Pact of Negation, because one of the ways they win is they use that like flare against us, I guess. Yeah, okay. I was tempted by that Surveil land, but I have another land. That's exactly what I needed. Okay, the opponent didn't have the flare. It doesn't matter if they did anyway. On to round number 2. Round number 2 on the draw. This hand doesn't have either part of the combo. And it has a Grizzlebrand in hand, which is basically a mulligan. Well, actually, no, it's not basically a mulligan because you can just get Galta and then put it into play that way. But, I mean, I've got turn 1 Surveil, turn 2 Planar. That sees 1, 2, 3, 4 extra cards and then 5, 6. That's not that many extra cards, really. I'm going to mulligan. Well, that's an even less pleasant hand. This hand has all the same problems. But it does have Summoner's Pact, so I'm actually going to keep that. Put the Grizzlebrand back into our deck because it's not green. And then just hope we can draw a Neoform. This also has potential Cast Endurance, which, depending on what our opponent's doing, could buy us a lot of time. Opponent plays a blue-white Surveil land. Alright, this is blue-white Days Undo and Control. They also have a companion. Not an ideal situation against a control deck. You like to keep more cards in your hand. I think if I would have known what our opponent was on, I probably would have kept that first hand. But sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone. Hall of the Storm Giants. I think I've got a record somewhere for forgetting this card exists and then dying because I made a bad attack into it. Breeding Pool. I'm going to top that, as pathetic as that is. I'm going to top the land because I only have one and it's also a creature. So just go ahead. Play that tap to reveal that I don't even have anything to do. And now I'm kind of like just stone dead to a Planeswalker here. They play to Fairy Time Raveler as well as Narset Parter of Veils. They choose not to do either one, so that tells me they don't have a Planeswalker or they don't have a Force of Negation to back it up with. Okay, we're drawing a lot of BS here. I'll go ahead and play my land untapped so I can cast Endurance to at least start attacking them. Opponent continues to play Draw Go. This could be Subtlety, which would be a little bit whack, as in weighted average cost of capital. All right, opponent counterspells the Endurance, which I'm actually okay with because I didn't need that card to win the game, but they might need Counterspell to win the game. All right, well, they counterspelled the Endurance, which kind of suggests to me that they have a Force of Negation or another Counterspell. But I'm already on a mulligan here. If I let them draw a bunch of cards, I think their hand gets better faster than my hand does. So my options are I can pass the turn, let them continue to accumulate cards, hoping that I draw a Veil of Summer or Pact of Negation. I have 6 of them in my deck, 6 out of 49. So do I have a better chance to win that way or just by jamming here and then pretty much just scooping? I think I have a better chance to win by just going here. If they counter the Summoner's Pact, I'll keep playing, I guess. Yeah, we get the Rider. And now I exile a bunch of cards from my hand. I will have Consign to Memory. I'm going to go for, I think, a Galta win here. Because I have Consign to Memory. Oh, they have Orange Chant. Well, darn. Can't do nothing about that. But they do have to get rid of the Allosaurus Rider. And sometimes they don't have it. If you watch me play on this channel with the Living End against Control, I win a lot of games against Control where it looks like I have no chance to win just because sometimes they don't have what they need. Days Undoing. Okay, this is gonna draw me 7 cards because they don't have a Planeswalker in play that stops me from doing anything. So, okay. I'm gonna cast with Replicate. I'm gonna replicate it all the times. Well, okay, so how many times should I replicate? If I replicate twice, they can go Counterspell Force of Negation and win the game. If I replicate 3 times, they probably can't do that, but then I'm just stuck with an Allosaurus Rider, and my hand is not particularly good. And I only have 1 Consign to Memory. Huh. Alright, so if I replicate twice, they could have hard Counterspell and then Force of Negation to win the game. If I replicate 3 times, well, I mean, 2 spells total versus 3 spells total. If I have 3 spells total, I probably resolve them all, but then I'm tapped out. I can have 1 mana available, and I just have to bank on this Allosaurus Rider not dying. to a 7-card hand. They could have Teferi, they could have Supreme Verdict, and they could have Solitudes. That's probably like 7 cards total. They probably have 1 Verdict and 2 to 3 Teferi. I'm gonna replicate twice. Or I'm gonna cast the spell, replicate 1. Because I don't want to bank on this Allosaurus rider. Ormschant? Okay. I'll accept that. That doesn't lose the game. Although that kind of stunk. I still have a Surveilland in my deck, so I'll play Flooded Stream. And I can't Pact of Negation yet. How do they have so many more lands? Did I miss a land drop? Do they have Big Teferi here? Okay, whatever. Supreme Verdict. That was something we thought they could do. Get the Hedge Maze. I don't want that. So it feels good to cast a spell here to attack them. But that's not how I want to play. I just want to continue throwing the combo at them. I think at this point in the game, they can absorb the impact of an endurance with basically no problem. All right. Okay. There's a Mandrills. Gonna pretty much just bin this no matter what it is. Yeah, I don't need that. Cast the Mandrills. And now I can Neoform with Veil of Summer back up, although Neoform's not that good here. I should have Flooded Stranded and got an untapped basic. That was bad play by me, because now I can't get Grizzlebrand with protection. Well, I mean, I can protect Grizzlebrand with this Pact of Negation. Okay, that's fine. So they go for Consult the Star Charts here. Fine with me. I think I played this turn wrong. I think I should have played my Flooded Strand. I'm going for the home run. That just resolved immediately. What the heck? Why did that just resolve immediately? All right. I don't think that they have any more Supreme Verdicts. I think they only play 1. So I'm going to play out my rider now. I'll just discard a land. Teferi Time Raveler. Attempt to counter. This is why I wish I still had my land here. I could have had a Veil of Summer up. It just resolves, wow. They could have another one. They put their Kahira to hand, and it looks like they're going to cast Solitude. All right. So in order for this to work, I have to hit Pact of Negation and 2 Consign to Memory, or Consign to Memory. What I meant is I have to hit Pact plus Consign, and I did. So, I'm just highly skilled. I'm kind of shocked at how well this game is going. All right. What a comeback there. I think it was a mistake of our opponent to cast that Days Undoing, because they had more cards in hand than I did. All right, do I want Ice Fang here? Is this like a bring in everything matchup? I think take out one of those. I think it might be one of those Summoner's Packs, because I'm going up higher on creature density. I don't know. Is this overboarding? It definitely looks like overboarding to me, but all these cards are good against them. So I just need to cut 4, cut the endurance, Eldritch. Uh, planar. Planar? No, I'm going to cut actually 1 Neoform. Alright, the Ice Fang strategy is being implemented. This does not have 2 lands, but it's on the draw with the Surveil, and this Mystical can do a lot of heavy lifting, so I'm going to keep. Although I do have Grizzlebrand in my hand, so that's pretty much useless unless I get a Galtus. I mean, this is really like a 6-card hand, and actually as far as 6-card hand goes, this isn't very good. I don't know. I'm trying things out today. Trying out the Ice Fang plan. Another land to be swell, and we get it. I think actually a 3rd land would also be good. Do I want that? No. Just hope we don't get surgical. Obviously, we're not going to run out Allosaurus against them because they're a Solitude deck. That would be silly. Just be utter silliness on our part. And if you're thinking about it, you're a silly goose. I'm not going to bother getting a Snow Basic because I don't care if this has Death Touch or not. Get the Breeding Pool. And now the beauty of this card is no matter what they do to get rid of it, I've replaced it already. Land would have been nice. And now I have to discard. I'm going to discard this Consign because I don't have Flash Containment Priest. Okay, that's a problem. But I can't do anything about it. Maybe I should have gotten rid of the Ureni, but it's still green. Play the Ice Fang. Well, I tried my best to get rid of Consign to Memory. Hedge Maze, there we go. Should have attacked first to conceal my land drop. I don't think I actually need more lands. Opponent swings back. Opponent does not put anything on the stack and also does not play a land. So their hand is all expensive stuff, and we keep drawing lands. What do I want to do? I mean, I can't really do my thing with this Containment Priest in play. But I'm going to continue passing because I don't want to discard 3 cards and then just get Supreme Verdicted or Solituded. And yes, I could try to counter a Solitude. I'd rather save it for a harder hitting spell. I just don't want to lose 3 cards to 1 card or 2 cards. Not living the Snow Basic dream. other snow permanent, so I'd only need 2. No, I don't want that. Drawing my Oculus would be kind of good. No, I don't need Galta. I'm just gonna get rid of Galta, I think. Well, now the problem is, if I counter that, they get to go Buck Wild. But if I don't counter that, then I'm losing 4 power to 2. I'm just going to use my cards while I have the chance to use them. Because it's either this or discard something to hand size. They mystical. I at least get to cash in this Veil for something. Alright, we really whittled their hand down. I wish our opponent had no Containment Priests in play instead of 2. If I draw any more basic, or if I draw any more fetches, I'll go get basics. Like, well, yeah, obviously I have to get basics now. Alright, well, exile it instead. So, new plan. Smash the opponent. Oh, they don't do anything. Consign a memory, not what I wanted. Should I take some of these out against hard control? The opponent doesn't block, indicating they don't have Supreme Verdict, because if they had it, I would have used a Containment Priest there to gain 5 life by blocking. This is a peculiar game from our opponent, Apex. We go to 2. So now all their creatures are lethal. I think we start by attacking with just the Rider. They have to Solitude here. They do. Alright. Cast with Replicate. Don't counter the Evoke trigger. They at least, yeah, same targets. The opponent consigned to memories, but that can only counter, so they're going to target their Evoke trigger, which makes sense. And then I'm so confused by the stack. And then, so I think I'm just going to let this resolve. So they're consigning my... They're consigning the Evoke trigger. That's it. Okay. Evoke trigger's consigned. Couldn't stop that. And then Solitude trigger, you can see what happened there. They get to block with Solitude. That's the net effect of what happened. Actually, no, there's no need to cast that. Okay. So they could go to Fairy Bounce here. I guess I should have cast Allosaurus Rider. I was thinking about what if they board wipe. They drew a land and they play it tapped. They don't attack with anything, even though they would have gotten 2 creatures from me. Do I want another land? No. I think this Generous Ant is glued to this Allosaurus Rider. Alright, well I'm going to start by casting this Pump Fight. If they go for another Solitude, I can consign that trigger. Okay, and then we attack with these two. Okay, so it is unclear to me if that is the correct way you're supposed to use Ice Fan Codal, but that was a game of Magic the Gathering, and it happened. You saw it, and you can't unsee it. Round number 3. With the World Diet Coke drinking champion playing Modern Neoform. This hand looks not the best. It still needs a evolution spell, but I've got 2 Surveils, so I'll keep. Now, with Veil of Summer in our hand, there's a theory that I could go Polluted Delta. So, I don't actually have a 2-mana play. Like, if I had a Planar Genesis, I think that would be a bad play, but because I don't, I'm going to play the Delta first, turning off my ability to play Untapped Land turn 2 at the moment. Well, not really. I have Disciple, but you see what I mean. I'd rather get the value, but on the off chance our opponent goes Land Thoughtseize, this is going to be a really strong start. All right, well, that's all out the window. This appears to be Affinity. Not the most explosive start from our opponent. However, I would like to combo sooner rather than later. I don't want to just give Affinity all day to get themselves set up. That Endurance is good against Emery, but that's it, and that's not good enough for me right now. Okay, another Misty. Not really what the doctor ordered. That is, though. Maybe the opponent will just tap out this turn. That'd be pretty great. But I've got Veil of Summer anyway. I don't even really need to worry about a counterspell at the moment. I bought some festive nuts for Christmas to put as a centerpiece on my table, but I don't really eat them because they're kind of a pain. They're kind of a hassle. When you pay for nuts, you're not really paying for the nuts. You're paying for the transportation cost. But anyway, so I threw some of these festive nuts into my backyard for the squirrels. So the squirrels owe me one, in theory. All right, let's exile some cards. Actually, no, I can't do that play I was just talking about. I still could keep Atraxa in my hand. Yeah, I mean, I guess I keep Atraxa in my hand for a future Galta, but I'm going for Grizzlebrand right now. We Neoform. Opponent has the one Metallic Rebuke, which it's actually in the US Constitution that every Affinity player always has Metallic Rebuke. Let's make sure I get the correct land here. I don't want to take too much damage because I want to use Grizzlebrand. I've never seen an Affinity player that didn't have Metallic Rebuke, but I think it's because their hand tends to just empty itself until they hit a stopping point, which is Metallic Rebuke usually. So I'm not going to pay 3. Then I will get Grizzlebrand. The problem with Grizzlebrand is they can untap Sink into Stupor it. So I'm going to use it now. And I think play out. What do I want to ditch? I guess ditch Disciple and Galta. There's still a Galta in my deck. And then I've got Pact Consign up also. Don't want to go too low there. I've already used half of my Allosaurus Riders, so getting one isn't even that great of a chance. So if I were to Grizzlebrand again there, I would probably just have a bunch of cards stuck in my hand I have to discard. I could have consigned this Urza. No, I couldn't have. Never mind. Never mind. Forget what I said. If I had 1 mana available, you can consign that initial mana trigger. There's an Emery. Is that worth it? No, that's not worth it. Opponent probably just scoops here. I don't see how they win. There's Flame of Anor. Yeah, I think I'll counter that. Why not? They can't cast Metallic Rebuke anymore on my consign. And the cards I'm afraid of out of their deck at this point are all blue. They're not colorless. If our opponent's final 2 cards are force blue card, then they've got me. But they are not. Oops, I discarded an extra pact there, but it didn't matter. Opponent was very gone. What do we want here? We want the artifact and enchantment hate. I think I want Beseiju, and then I would take out Pact of Negation. What else to take out? I think against them you actually take out Atraxa, 1 Mandrills, 2 Mandrills. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Aether Spellbomb. That can just bounce Grizzlebrand. Kind of hilarious. Got to be careful about what we put into play against this. Or we don't. Or, you just put in Grizzlebrand and you draw 7 cards and it gets pretty easy. I'm not a Neoform player at heart, as you can tell. Alright, our opponent drew all of their Urza Saga targets. I don't care about any of these cards yet. I don't want Galta. Hopefully they do not surgical that. Planar Genesis, not a bad draw. I'm not going to play out the Allosaurus Rider, obviously. They have Aether Spellbomb. And even if they didn't, that would still be a bad play. They can just untap and then sink into Stupor, and then I'm out 2 cards. I've played against some people in the mirror match who run out their Allosaurus Rider really early against me, and I don't think that's a good play. Alright, what do I want? I think I just want the land. None of these protect my combo. I already have a consign, so I'll take the land. That makes any protection spell really good now. Opponent is doing nothing and has 6 permanents. It looks like they maybe could have cast a Kappa Cannoneer. I'm just going to go to my turn. I would like to give myself 1 more chance to draw protection. I think passing the turn here favors me, at least for 1 turn, because I get to look at 2 cards with my Surveil, whereas they just get their draw step plus that. So we're kind of even on number of cards seen, really. And getting 1 more, because the Summoner's Pact is also a land, so getting 1 more chance of the protection spell I think is okay there. I mean, opponent is doing stone nothing with 3 cards in hand, so they've got to have a counterspell, I would imagine. Do I want that additional hedge maze? Yeah, I'd like to keep hitting land drops if I can't have my protection. And this is another Surveil, which is like half of a Preordain. Don't need that. Alright, if they play something like Vexing Bauble, I'll just counter it, I think. I can't really do a whole lot in this situation. I mean, I could just run out the combo and see if I win, but I think maybe I will if I draw a green card. It's a land. That's not really a green card. All right, so can I just try to combo twice here? I can go Rider, discard, discard, Neoform, and then I still have Rider, green card. No, I can't. So my combo would consume 1, 2, 3. Okay, these 4 cards are one combo, and then that's what's left over. Still don't think I want that. Another play available to me now is Summoner's Pact for Hooting Mandrills. That turns me off from comboing next turn, as I would likely just pay for Summoner's Pact. But at least if I do that, if my combo gets blown out, I can go again. Okay, I'm into it. Glad I kept that one Hooting Mandrills in. Exile everything good. You don't want them to surgical or anything weird. And then I guess I just go for it. I was thinking about attacking with that Hooters next turn, but this puts the same amount of pressure on our opponent, really. Okay, they can Metallic Rebuke. That's fine. It looks like they're also holding up Sink into Stupor because they used all their artifacts there. All right, whatever. 2 for 1, but it happens. 2 for 1s are okay when I had 7 cards in hand and they have 4, I guess. They're going to sacrifice their Fiery Islet. And then the question is, do I consign to memory my pack trigger, or do I just pay for it? I guess that depends on what they do here. Like if the opponent goes all in on a Kappa Cannoneer here, which I think they probably have one in their hand, then maybe I would consign and just go for it again, because then their counterspell capabilities are reduced. Tamiyo, that's a good card for them to draw. They equip, give Tamiyo haste to make a clue. They can pay for 1 counterspell, it looks like. All right, opponent has Maze Mind Tome going. Just go ahead and get the breeding pool. I'm going to pay. I don't think going off right now is wise. Okay, there's the Veil of Summer. Still would like to draw another piece of interaction. Consign to Memory is not really a counterspell versus them to protect the combo, unless they play like a Vexing Bauble. I'm lucky our opponent never drew an Urza Saga that would have taken over this game. All right, what do we draw? Allosaurus Rider, not really what I wanted. I'm going to exile Allosaurus Rider Ureni, because I don't see us putting a Galta into play. Just resolves. Nice. Well, that's not what they're going to fight over. They're going to fight over this. They could have double counterspell. It happens. I could have veiled first. Yeah, I probably should have veiled first to determine if this was the turn. All right, 1 more land would have been nice. Opponent has another counterspell, as we figured they probably did. No. All right. I've seen enough. Good game. Just do a bunch of hot air that game, really. Hard mulligan. That's somewhat better. I guess I keep and put back Xenagos. I'll play a green land first. I mean, I don't know why I kept this hand. This hand doesn't do anything. I don't know. Mulligans are not my strong suit. I just have a hard time shipping somewhat playable hands. If I got lands and spells, I like to keep it. Which is why I'm not really much of a Neoform player. Well, can't counter that. Not much of an opening hand for our opponent either. Start with the Hedge Maze. That's pretty good. Maybe I can get one combo piece this game. I guess I'll top that. Until they play an Urza Saga, I don't feel a ton of pressure. Not an Urza Saga. Although Emery's pretty good and I can't counter it, so that sucks. And opponent has Core Steel Cutter. That also sucks. Alright, well I did everything wrong this game. You should probably keep better hands. And if you have Mystical Dispute against a blue deck, you should probably leave an island open. So I'm probably not going to win, but I will play it out. I go to 5. Rider. Did not get it. Good games. Round number 4 here. That's another unkeepable hand. We'll mulligan. Alright, that's got half the combo. We'll keep that and put back, I believe, the excess land. Even though Galta is not really that good in your hand, it's still a green card. And I have 2 lands. Opponent has Faithless Looting, so this could be a deck that plays Burning Inquiry and renders our mulligan decision totally pointless anyway. Alright, they've been Riddler and Raucous Theater. Cool, there's a turn 2, I think it's a turn 2 win if I draw one more green card. I'm just going to preserve my life total. The odds that they counter this next turn are pretty bad anyway, so I'm not crazy about surveilling. Alright, there's a persist on Quantum Riddler. They draw a card and make a 3/5 with flying. Green card would be pretty swell here, not gonna lie. That's green card. Alright, we win game number 1. Our opponent was a little bit upset about it in the comments. I don't blame them because this is kind of ridiculous. But, you know, all games of Magic end when someone gets an overwhelming advantage. This deck, it just happens sooner sometimes. Alright, round number 2. We've got a 2-lander that's not particularly good against them, but it does have 7 cards. And because this is a Burning Inquiry deck, I don't want to mulligan a lot. I kind of actually like having redundancy. I do not have the Veil of Summer anyway, so I'm going to get the Surveillant going. That's not a necessary card, I don't think. We can go ahead and put that in the graveyard. I really just need a combo piece. Opponent surveils. They surveil it to the top. No free entomb for our opponent on that turn. I got a free entomb. Opponent leaving their mana open. Probably brought in a bunch of counterspells. They're a blue deck. That was a good draw. I use Planar Genesis here. Although these consigned memories aren't doing a whole lot of work, to be honest. Opponent thought scours, thought sees. They just didn't get a thought not seer for the triple thought, thing there. And I think there's a card called Thought Eraser too that would have been pretty sick. It's Thought Erasure, but I always called it Thought Eraser. Let's use the Planar Genesis now. Want to keep my life total up because this might be a deck that plays like Flamewake Phoenix or like Detective Phoenix, like Inspector Gadget. Well, that's awkward. Now I can't top deck any land in my deck and play Endurance. I don't even have a combo. I'm going to take Endurance. I don't even have a combo to protect right now with Veil of Summer. And this Endurance could blow them out potentially at some point in the game. Opponent clearly has counter spells though. So that was a little bit sketchy of a play. I don't need that, so I will graveyard it. Emperor of Bones. There's nothing that good in the graveyards at the moment, and on a future turn I can get like an Archon with Endurance or something. They don't have a Psychic Frog to follow it up. That's lucky for us. They exile Xenagos, but they're never going to get to attack with that. If they adapt, I mean. Okay, I think what I do here is I lead on the Endurance, give myself one more opportunity to draw. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got to play the Endurance now. It's either that or discard to hand size. Wait, I guess discarding a consign to memory actually would have been okay there. So, bit of a foolish play by me. At least this turns off something like a Murktide Regent or an Abhorrent Oculus, which they probably have in their deck. They adapt just to put counters. They probably should have done that on their turn, but that used all their mana. Opponent drawn a lot of lands. Wish I had a land. There's the frog I was concerned about. If it gets too big, I can always bounce it. If I had wanted to, I could have held up mana and flood mauled this, but I'd already cast Endurance at that point, so that wasn't really an option. Oh, they're going to still get it anyway. I see. They did it on my end step, so they get it for the rest of turn. Why isn't this an 8/8? Oh, okay. Psychic Frog got haste. I see. Yeah, I'd like my opponent to discard 2 cards to save their Psychic Frog. That's fine with me. They discard an Emperor. They discard Persist. All right. Even though that killed my Endurance, it straight up 2-for-1 them. And also, if they have Force Negation, now they can't have any other cards because it's just Force, and then like they're done. All right, Xenagos is gone. There is a land. I don't have any protection here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 next turn. I'm just going to go for it. I don't see this getting any better. I'm thinking like I could Flooded Strand, try to put a Veil of Summer on top. But they draw 2 cards that way. I only draw 1. So like we're not even really getting anywhere at that point. Hopefully this works. All right, round number 5. What have we got here? We've got Neoform, we've got 2 lands, we've got plenty of green cards, we got the Pact. This is a turn 2 as long as everything goes okay. And it's Eldrazi, so it's looking like we might be off to a good start here. I'm actually just going to lead on a basic land. I don't want to let them have any clues as to what I might be up to. If they were to like top deck a Vexing Bauble here, and then they have to choose between like playing something else or playing the Vexing Bauble, although that wasn't the case. If I play the Disciple Frailes, they know I'm trying to do free spells. All right, well, we'll just play that. Cast that. Cast the Rider. Neoform and hope to draw a Consign with Grizzlebrand. Alright, I think we drew some Consign to Memories, although not the best hand otherwise. I'm going to throw back that and a land. And another land. Alright, I dare my opponent to resolve a spell. Well, we just lose the game here. Shoot. Is there anything I can do about this? Gosh darn it. No, I can't. There's nothing I can do. You know, I hadn't even considered that as an option of a way I could lose, but yeah, oh well. I mean, I don't have a Pact of Negations for a trigger, so. Yep. Alright, concede. Alright. Definitely want the artifact and enchantment stuff. Pact of Negation's not good against them, really. Endurance, pretty iffy. What else do I not need? I don't think I need Nourishing Shoal. And I guess 1 Veil of Summer. Alright, we got another good hand here that's cursed with a non-blue producing land. So I'm going to give myself the option to draw like a breeding pool. Or just an island. I mean, well, actually, I don't need to because I don't need... what do I want to get here? Actually, I just want to draw a green card. Yeah, a green card is what I need. I don't even depend on a Pact. Graft Digger's Cage. We will get Breeding Pool and counter that. Well, I hope our opponent had fun this game. I'm not taking any chances. They don't have enough mana next turn to destroy my land, but you can't tell me that. Although, I have to Grizzlebrand here, which doesn't win the game immediately. If I'd drawn a green card there, I could have. Alright, turn 2 Grizzlebrand again. We'll see if I can win this time. Would I like to go to 2? Yes, I would. I want to put another creature in play. Well, I can't. Or can I? Yeah, I want to put another creature in play. One of those. Alright. That's better. I feel better now. Discard land. Opponent has 3 lands. Are you joking? Ha! Wow. What an incredible way to lose. All right, so the first game, I think I got pretty unlucky. I don't think I had a better play available. But this game, I was just stupid. Yeah, this is just stupidity by me. Just pure bad play. All right, well, thanks for watching, guys. This was a pretty good league, really. I mean, I went 3-2. I feel like this match was actually just an easy win if I just played a little smarter. But see how it goes. Oh no, I can't pay at Good Games.